Over to you, Dr. Nagesh.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's presentation from the Group 4. We are presenting all the competencies which is allotted to our group. We have prepared with all the efforts of the participants, the SLOs for all these competencies. And I am grateful to Dr. Rohit Goyal, who has taken the assistant professor from SLIMS Puducherry. So he has taken great effort in converting all these SLOs, streamlining and converting into PPT and presenting today. Hopefully, we'll have a healthy discussion at the end of the presentation. So over to Rohit.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Sanjay Bedi. Thank you, Dr. Nagesh. And I would like to thank all the participants who are here to listen. And today, I am going to speak myself, Dr. Rohit Goyal. I am working as an assistant professor in Sri Lakshmi Narayana Institute of Medical Sciences, Puducherry. And our group coordinator, Dr. Nagesh, has contributed a lot in these competencies to SLOs. And we are going to present on this on behalf of Group 4. Can you please shift the slide, sir? Next slide. Sir, next slide, sir. Okay, so these are the group members who all were there: Dr. Vantara Dev Verma, Dr. Chandra Deepak, Dr. Dev Verma, Dr. Naveen Kumar, Dr. Pooja Chakravarti, Dr. Prashant, Dr. Priyamvada, myself, Dr. Cheryl, Dr. Shodhan, Dr. Sudha, Dr. Vijay Pal Khanagwal, and Dr. Krishnamurthy. So we have like even senior people in the group, and they have contributed. Starting from junior as like me, myself, assistant professor, to professor and HODs also. So we had these competencies, and the first competency that we had was like the 2.25, which is describe type of injuries, clinical features, pathophysiology, postmortem findings, and medico-legal aspect in case of burn, scald, lightning, electrocution, and radiation. As we see, this is a very big competency, and MCI has put it in the domain of knowledge, and the level as per Miller's pyramid was know-how level. It is a core competency, and the assessment, the methods that have been suggested by MCI include lecture, small group discussion, autopsy. So we have made it as per like from the burns and scald point of view, although the parts can be applied to like lightning, electrocution, and radiation also. So first objective that we have devised is like classification of thermal injury. So these are supposed to be taught by phase 3, by the end of phase 3 part 1, and students should be able to classify thermal injuries, define burn and scald, classify burn injuries based upon the depth, degree of burns, explain the method of calculation of body surface area of burn. Also, he should be able to describe the clinical features, management, and causes of death, different causes of death that can be there in these burn injuries patients, postmortem findings, and as well as medico-legal aspects. So similar things also apply for scald also. Can also be applied to lightning, whichever areas which we consider like electrocution can also be applied, and similarly can be to radiation. So while assessment, this it can be taught like first we are having a little discussion on the teaching learning methods that can be used for this competency. So first, from the knowledge point of view, we can use the lectures and small group discussions to classify these injuries, to define these burn and scald, to explain calculation of burn surface area, and we can integrate with for clinical features and management of these cases. And also one important part here is autopsy, where we can use this to explain the cause of death. The student can very well see the postmortem findings at autopsy, and ultimately small group discussion and lecture can be used for this medical legal aspect of this injuries. And while assessment can be done by this written and so this is competency number 2.25. Next slide, please. Next we have is 2.26, which says that describe and discuss clinical features, postmortem findings, and medical legal aspects of death due to starvation and neglect. Okay, so it is a competency for phase 2. We think that it can be covered in phase 2, and it is a knowledge domain competency with Miller's level of know-how competency. It is a core competency. The suggested methods are lecture and small group discussions, and written or viva voce can be used for assessment. So as per our group, we think that it can be taken, the objectives in this competency should be list various causes of starvation, describe feature and management of a person with starvation, enumerate the causes of death due to starvation, and the student should be able to describe the post-mortem findings in case of death due to starvation, explain the medical legal aspects related to starvation. So here we see that it is knowledge competency, and it can be very well taught with the lecture also. It can be even the group of students, small groups can be made to discuss and elaborate on those aspects. The medical legal aspects, especially in the context of hunger strikes and all those kind of examples can be given, and case-based studies can also be provided to these students for learning the aspects of starvation and neglect. And also, if we have a facility of autopsy in such cases, then even autopsy can be used as a very good tool for encouraging the learning. And ultimately, written and viva are very good modalities to assess these things also. Even small spotters and photographs and all those things can be used for assessment in these cases. We can produce some photographs of the postmortem findings also, and asking from different angles, even in viva. Thank you. Next slide, sir. Next we have is FM 2.27, which says define and discuss infanticide, feticide, and stillbirth. So here we see it is a knowledge level, knowledge domain, know-how level, core competency, lecture, small group discussion, and autopsy is suggested. Written and viva voce can be taken for assessment, and it can be aligned with anatomy and pediatrics. So as SLOs, the student phase 3 part 1 should be able to embryo, fetus, infant, neonate, and separately we can put it like that also, and then differentiate between newborn and stillborn, enumerate the causes of stillbirth, and then describe the medical legal importance of infanticide, feticide, and stillbirth. As we see that the definitions, like from the anatomical perspective, we can go for embryo, fetus, infant, and we are going to see in the subsequent competency also that various other domains also have to be looked for. So these sessions, this competency of FM 2.27 as well as FM 2.28 can be taken in a combined session with the pediatrics department, where we are focusing on more towards the definition and changes and all those. So for pediatric anatomical alignment, or we can, when we are other parts like we are going to see in the next slide with the pediatrics department. Next slide, sir. Okay, here we are saying that this is asking for describing the and discussing of intrauterine death, signs of live birth, viability of fetus, determination of fetus, DOA ossification centers, hydrostatic tests, death syndrome, and Munchausen syndrome by proxy. So it's a very big competency. We have like 17 SLOs in, and again, knowledge, how level, core competency, lecture, small group discussion, even and autopsy has been suggested for this teaching learning methods. And here we see that we have devised SLOs based upon like various sizes of intrauterine death. First, students should be able to explain, then enumerate, then he should describe the feature of dead born fetus, then he should find out the signs of birth, Then define viability of fetus, what is as per the law. Explain the medico-legal importance of viability of fetus. Describe the methods for estimation of gestational age of fetus. So this one learning objective, describe the methods of gestational age. Mostly we are looking at the external features and various age-related changes on the fetus. So this is very well taught in collaboration. Then we have enumerate various causes of infant death. Again, various causes of infant death is can be aligned with the pediatrics. Differentiate between respired and lung of a fetus. Very well, it can be autopsy sessions. Explain the method and interpretation of hydrostatic test. Very well, it can be in front of them while doing autopsy, and they can be made to discuss on this aspect. Next slide, sir. Here we have continuous slide. Enumerate the different methods of child abuse. So child abuse cases usually present in the pediatric casualty or in the OPD. So pediatric session, this aligned session, integrated session with the pediatrics may be very helpful in this. Definition of battered baby syndrome. Describe the clinical findings and medico-legal aspect of battered baby. Explain shaken baby syndrome and Cinderella syndrome. This is they can be made by lecture or small group discussion. Then definition of SIDS, and this session can be combined with the definition session. Again, we are saying that describe the causes, clinical findings, post-mortem findings, and medico-legal aspect of SIDS. Similarly, clinical findings, department, post-mortem findings, autopsy, medico-legal aspect, we can make them discuss in the small groups. Same thing applies to Munchausen's. See, here we have to talk about clinical findings. Although post-mortem findings will be similar, like it's going to be a abuse only if the Munchausen syndrome by proxy child abuse is there. Then again, it medico-legal aspect discussion in the small group. Next slide, sir. And for we can go for in this competency, we can go for written.
एक आधा घंटा मतलब
Sir. Okay, sir. Okay, we can go for assessment, we can go for written or vivavos, or also like subjective examination skills can also be tested in this. OSCE station can be done in either in forensic medicine, or it can be performed in the pediatrics also. That way assessment can be done. Next we have is the competency number 2.29. Here asking the student to demonstrate respect to the direction of court while appearing as a witness for the recording of evidence under oath or affirmation, and procedures like examination in chief, examination, re-examination, and court questions, and also recording of evidence. This is and communication level competency which a student has to demonstrate, like as per Miller's pyramid, he should be able to show. Then core competency, and the various methods that for teaching are suggested are lecture, small group discussion, court visit, video, role play. These all like the modalities can be used for teaching this competency. But what we resort to depends upon our infrastructure and the facilities that we have. We can use different making the student state the procedure of receiving summons. It can role play exercise, or a video can to them. Even a student, if it is possible, then the code can also be provided. And moot courts can also be done, like it has been every faculty we have seen that they contribute in some organization of some kind of moot courts in their respective. Second, demonstrate procedure of oath taking in the court of law. Same also taught with these exercises. Demonstrate the procedure of recording evidence in the court of law. That's examination in chief, cross-examination, re-examination, question by judge. Taught by video, court visits, role play, or moot courts. Then demonstrate the doctor's attitude while giving evidence in the witness box. Here we are talking about professionalism, and for a student to behave like a professional, he should know what is to be a professional. And I feel that to train a student in this regard, we need to have more considering from the ATCOM perspective. We are going to see in the next subsequent see how we are going to inculcate the habit or like attitude of a professional in this. So here this, although it will help to this moot courts and sessions, but thorough previous knowledge of professionalism should be inculcated as per ATCOM module 1.1. Now next we have assessment. As in assessment, we can ask the student to we can assess as per this sessions, we can assess the student during these sessions itself. If the student is participating, if the student is able to, we can observe the student for 2-3 activities, and then we can see whether the student is actively participating or not. If he or she is actively participating, obviously the communication and attitude has been put in the student's perspective. Next slide, sir. Okay, now the next competency is FM 2.30. Here MCI is asking the student to have knowledge, awareness of latest decisions, notifications, resolutions, circulars, standing orders related to medical legal practice issued by courts, government authorities, and any other authorities that might be like with the notation of etc. So it is this competency has been described in 2 competencies. One is 1.8 and another is 2.3. As per MCI, the 2.3 should be treated as an attitude domain competency, but we feel that it is better to be treated as a knowledge level, because once the professional's attitude has been imparted into the student, this knowledge enough is appropriate to follow these directions and describe these, to follow these decisions by the courts and all those, by higher authorities. So SLOs devised by our group say that by the end of phase 3 part 1, the student should be able to describe the latest decisions, notifications. These objectives can be further classified as latest decisions and subcategorized into notifications, circulars, standing orders related to medical legal practice issued by courts, then issued by central government or central authorities, like NHRC also gives its guidelines pertaining to medical legal procedures. Then we can go for state government's orders also, and lastly from the medical council, including state medical council or national medical commission, or earlier known as MCI. Here we can use lecture as it is a core competency. This has to be the knowledge has to be given to the students about it, like they will be getting this kind of publications every now and then during their career, and it can be taught by lecture, and assessment can be made by written or viva exam. Next slide. Okay, here we are seeing is another competency, which is demonstrate, which is FM 2.31, asking the student to demonstrate ability to work in a team for conduction of medical legal autopsies in case of death following alleged negligence, medical dowry death, death in custody, this is alleged medical negligence, dowry death, death in custody, or following violation of human rights as per National Human Rights Commission guidelines on exhumation. Okay, first, a student should be taught how to work in a team, because a student who has joined MBBS, he might not be having a perspective of working in a team. Although some students are better in this regard, they perform in school level and various other activities they participate, but considering from a medical student's perspective, usually involved into studies, they don't usually go for teamwork kind of exercise. And ATCOM has come up with one very wonderful module on this regard, ATCOM 2.4, where they are asking the student to demonstrate ability to work in a team of peers and superiors. So we can very well incorporate our contribution in this module, and we can also participate while conducting these exercises, where demonstration of respect to the fellow team members can also be ensured. And here afterwards, the student can be made to demonstrate work in teamwork in a medical legal autopsy, in a medical negligence case, in a dowry death case, in a human rights or custodial death violation of human rights case. So this can be this competency is asking only to be known, but if a role play or something can be incorporated, then it can be very well reinforced in the student's mind. So role play, video and autopsy demonstration, these all direct exposure can also be done in these cases. And once the student has been exposed to all these things, the entries can be made in the logbook, and the assessment can be done by OSPI also, giving a small setup where you can ask the student to communicate or do some work in a teamwork fashion. Next slide, sir. Here, this competency 2.32, this asks the student to demonstrate ability to exchange information by verbal or non-verbal communication to the peers, family members, law enforcing agencies, and judiciary. Okay, now this what we feel is that this competency has been put forward in this UG curriculum for the perspective of from the perspective that there are a lot of violence cases against the doctors that are coming up, and our budding doctors, physicians are not very much aware of how to take control of this situation, how to behave, how to have a control of things going out of hand. So we have devised the competencies as per the objectives that by the end of phase 3, a student should be able to demonstrate empathy to patient and his family or members, the patient with a terminal illness in a simulated environment. And this empathy demonstration is also a part of ATCOM module. So we can very well incorporate with the ATCOM module on this aspect also. Demonstrating the breaking of bad news to the patient, our patient relatives in a terminally ill condition. Similarly, then we can ask the student to demonstrate verbal communication to family members while handling a case of violence in the casualty. So here the public speaking and this leadership skills of the student will be inculcated. And then demonstration by verbal or non-verbal communication to fellow doctors. He should be having the outlook of working in a team from the previous competency, and that can be very well utilized here also, where he can cooperate with the other team fellow members, team workers, including nurse and security personnel over there, whosoever are present. He should be able to communicate effectively. Then demonstration by verbal or written communication to the police. He should be made to understand what is the role of police and how he can be initiating the proceeding for seeking justice. So to the police also he should be able to communicate even by verbal communication and written communication. And lastly, he has to communicate to the management also, and similarly he might have to go for a judiciary hearing and all those things also later on in the course of time. So as per MCI, attitude and communication is very much necessary over here, and know how is the level of competence that they are asking. So even simulation, role play videos and all those exercises will be able to help the student to make a decision in the future. But at least this level we can ensure it by role play videos, and documenting such things, such exercises in the logbook can also help in the assessment also. We can integrate with ATCOM as well as medicine department for such mock exercises. Next slide. Next we have is FM 2.33 and 2.34. They are both the same competencies. They are given in different headings. So demonstrate ability to use local resources whenever required, like in a mass disaster situation. Although I think like as per the recent webinar by Dr. Ved Prakash Mishra, he said something about incorporating more hours into the ADCOM module, and here mass disaster situations, I think that can be incorporated in the next 60 hours, as he said, like it can be included more. So if we can dedicate some hours, then we can expose the student to such things also, like how to take care of a mass disaster, from to take care of the mass disaster in a more effective fashion. And as per our perspective, from the considering the know-how level as the MCI is expecting, so we think that here lecture, small group discussions, simulation and videos can help very well to doing the justice to this competency. As per the SLOs, we think that defining the mass disaster, enumerating different types of disaster, identifying various departments which should be included in the triage team, identifying the role of individual departments, and then running a mock drill for management of common disaster situation. So this is like a whole package. Once you start a discussion, and then you can ask for a role play, and then similarly you can modulate with the other departments also, like taking their contribution, community medicine department, general medicine department, even orthopedics department, taking consideration of the triage team and all those things. So that all depends upon the local resources, and I feel that it can be incorporated in the ADCOM module. If there is as per my search in the ADCOM, I could not find anything related to mass disaster situations. Next slide, sir. Okay, here we are having FM 2.35, which is asking the student to demonstrate professionalism while conducting autopsy in a medical legal situation. As we saw earlier, this professionalism is coming up again and again. It is asked, which is like inculcating the attitude of a doctor into the budding physician. So it is a very important exercise, although it is asking for incorporation at the time of interpretation of finding, medical legal situation, autopsy, including inference, opinion, collection, preservation and dispatch of biological evidences. So it is mostly related to demonstrating professionalism at the doing what a medical legal expert should do. But incorporating professionalism forms the first step, and this is very well emphasized in ADCOM module 1.1 and 1.5 is pertaining to specially handling 1.1 is specially to handling cadavers, where they are treating cadaver as the first teacher. So we can we can teach this aspect in the phase 2 to the students, and we can ask for the we can ensure that the student understand what are the professional should be able to describe professional qualities and roles of a physician. Students should be able to demonstrate respect when handling cadavers and other biological tissues. Once the student has learned this, then he can very well do the justice to demonstrating professionalism while conducting medical legal autopsy, demonstrating professionalism in collection, preservation and dispatching of evidentiary material to FSL, histopath, biochemistry, different sort of labs that the student autopsy may demand. And lastly, he may be able to do the demonstrate professionalism while inferring or opinion based upon the autopsy finding and subsequent investigations. So here we can say that it can be incorporated by combining with the ADCOM module, and it has to be know how and show how competency. This is given a free bar over here. So core competence, coreness of it should be emphasized, and it can be taught by small group discussions, video, autopsy, simulation, skill labs, and ultimately the student can be assessed by OSPE or VIVA. Next slide, sir. Okay, this competency number 8.5 is asking the student to describe medical legal autopsy in cases of poisoning. including preservation, dispatch of viscera for chemical analysis. Okay, here a student should be aware. It's mostly a know-how level type of competency and knowledge domain. Core competency, as all students ultimately will have an exposure of medical legal situation, performing autopsies and preservation of sample. So this is a core competency, and this can be emphasized. It's mostly related to knowledge only, so it can be emphasized by lecture and small group discussions. And assessment by written and viva is, I think it will do the justice to it. So at the end of phase 2, MBBS students should be able to describe the procedure of medical legal autopsy in a suspected case of poisoning. He should be able to converse, like he should be able to describe the complete procedure, how this case will be brought to the casualty, and then autopsy, what will be the method of preservation of evidentiary material. He should be able to identify these materials also. Then procedure to be followed while dispatching the evidentiary material. So that procedure also incorporates, although it is objective is a little broader in the perspective that it can include chain of custody issues and explaining what all, how to draft letters and how to send proper channel and all those things, and documenting such things. So this is something that we have to further work upon to subdivide it into smaller objectives. We can do that. Next slide, sir. Okay, next is 8.6, asking the student to describe the general symptoms, principles of diagnosis, and management of common poisons encountered in India. Okay, here this is again knowledge domain and know-how level competency. It is a core, and lecture and small group discussions, written viva both can be used as assessment tools. And alignment with the pharmacology has been suggested by the MCI or NMC. So now we think that a student should be able to, the MBBS phase 3 students should be able to describe the general symptoms of common poisons encountered in India. Okay, one thing I would like to consider over here is that this general principles part can also be taken care of in the second phase. It depends upon person to person and the faculty who are instituting such things, but it can be done in the second part also. So a student should be able to describe the general symptoms of common poisons encountered in India, then describe the general principles of diagnosis of common poisons encountered in India, including history of illness, clinical features, and investigation, and lastly, principles of management of common poisons. So this last objective, like general management principles, this can be very well taught, included with the pharmacology also. And also, if possible, then medicine contribution can be taken while asking for clinical feature and investigation and management. Next, sir. FM 14.7, asking the student to demonstrate and identify that a particular stain is blood and identify the species of its origin. Okay, it's a skill level competency and know-how level is expected. Core competency, small group discussion in the practical lab, or that even demonstration can be done in this. DOAP sessions can also be done. OSP can be used for asking the student to demonstrate it for assessment and all that. Viva and logbook maintenance are very, I think, will be helpful for assessing the student in this. So SLOs that are prepared on this competency are like by our group are like, first a student should be able to enumerate the screening tests to identify, enumerate the screening as well as confirmatory tests to identify a stain as blood. Then he should be able to describe the principles of at least 2 methods to identify a stain as blood. Then he should be able to demonstrate 2 methods to identify, and then demonstrate 2 techniques to differentiate human and animal blood in a given stain. And lastly, enumerate the medico-legal importance of blood stains. So small group discussion can be very well incorporated for discussing the medico-legal importance, whereas rest and enumerating the principles and screening, whereas demonstration will anyway have to be done in a small, in a practical lab. The DUAP session and direct observation can be done. Next. So this, I feel, is the last competency, and it is asking the student to demonstrate the correct technique to perform and identify ABO and RH blood group of a person. So it is again a skill competency with a know-how level, core competency, small group discussion in practical lab, again similar like the earlier competency. So we feel that SLOs in this competency should be make the student to be able to enumerate various types of human blood groups, demonstrate the correct sample for identifying ABO and RH typing from a given sample, and enumerate the medical legal importance of blood groups. So when we are saying enumerate different type of blood groups and importance of blood groups and medical legal importance, this can be taken care of in the practical session, in the small group discussions also, in the small group discussions. And for technique, demonstration of technique, practical lab can be shown, DUAP sessions can be done. Where OSPI can be, OSPI and Viva-Voce and logbook can be used as a tool for assessing various aspects of it. And collaboration with pathology or physiology department can be done for enhancing, for ensuring that learning of this competence. Next slide, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank
And
you,
with this-
Dr. Yeah,
Thank you,
tell me. Thank you, Dr. Rohit. It was well prepared and well organized and well presented. So I hope the participants can